Welcome to the first video of our Born to Fly Law School video series. I'm Mel Simpson back at you. Today we'll be going over the kind of format of how this video series is going to work. It's mainly going to be a Q&A with Attorney Obi, the author of Born to Fly. In this video we'll be talking about the basics, the law school preparation, how to get you from undergrad to law school mindset, the law school environment, also how to establish a routine early, because you need to get it done early so you can have it, so you can use it through all your law school process. Also, the Socratic Method will be mentioned. So here's Attorney Obi. Let's get it started.
Okay, good morning, good morning. All right, so like we said, let me grab my water here in case I get parched. It's going to be very simple, very basic, just a Q&A kind of format. I'll let you go ahead and get started.
All right. So first question for you, Attorney Obi, is what all preparation did you do when you had that when you got that acceptance letter? From then to your first 1L class, what preparation did you go through to get ready for that 1L class?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. And one of the things that really gets students in law school is the dramatic change in the whole academic structure that you've been accustomed to. When you're in undergrad, the academic routine and process really is one of intake material, regurgitate material, pretty much in the same format. There's really no, in some classes, that's a broad generalization, there's really no process of really developing this analytical, think like a lawyer, a phrase that you'll come to hear quite frequently. So one of the things that I really suggest is that you study up on and really become familiar and talk to a lot of people about the law school process and the experience, because it's going to be something very different in terms of your day-to-day than what you're accustomed to in undergrad. Now, for me personally, when I found out that I was going to law school, I did a lot of things. I read everything that I could about the law school environment. I watched movies like what's the famous movie, Paper Chase, or all sorts of law movies. I actually went and observed classes to the extent that you can to actually see what a real law school class was like. And then I did a lot of work to prepare myself in terms of my typing skills. I spent a lot of time working with the typing program to increase my typing proficiency. I spent a lot of time just honing my research skills. So I did a lot of pre-law school prep. And actually, that's one of the things that really impressed me about Mel, is that he was willing and eager to do that work. And when you do that work, no matter how limited, it's going to help you out.
Now, would you have done anything differently in your preparation, or would you have, what do you think you could have did more, or was there anything?
I think if I had one thing to do is don't forget to enjoy the last, and I don't want to say the last bit of free time that you have, but don't get so focused with preparation that you don't enjoy the summer or the process leading up to law school. Because when you get into law school, especially that first year, it's absolutely critical that you button down and that you stay very, very focused, and that you limit all sorts of distractions to whatever extent possible. So enjoy your summer, enjoy the time that you have before law school, enjoy orientation, don't stress yourself out, and just allow the process to unfold in a very natural way.
Now, in regards to the law school environment, how does it differ from the undergrad environment?
The law school environment differs from the undergrad environment in many ways. One is that the competitive nature of the law school environment, and this is something that you have to realize very early on, especially if you want to end up in the top of the class. Law school is graded on a curve, right? What does that mean? That means, like, unlike undergrad, in a class where everybody had an equal opportunity for an A, in law school, for each class, for each exam, you'll have 2 or 3 A's, you'll have a couple of A minuses, you'll have a few B pluses, and then everybody will hit the curve, and then you'll have some people who will fall below the curve. So what does that mean? It is an extremely competitive environment. You are in this environment with folks who have been successful academically in their life, including you, so don't doubt yourself, right? But you're in there with folks who have been successful academically at various stages of their life. Everybody is passionate, everybody is hungry, so that's the first thing, the first major difference. The second major difference is in the material that you're going to be presented with, the weight of that material, and the rate at which you're going to be assessed over that material. What do I mean? In undergrad, you're probably used to taking quizzes and taking a midterm and then having a final and then maybe having a paper. You have your grade that's determined by several different components. That's not the reality in law school. In reality, in law school, most of your grades will come down to 1 3-hour exam at the end of a full semester. And during that semester, you're going to have a ton of work, a ton of material that you're going to have to absorb, manage, dissect, and really master in order to be to find yourself in the top of the class. So what does that mean for you? That means that there is no procrastination. Law school is not like undergrad where you can kind of blow off the entire semester and then the last couple of weeks really hit it hard and still have a shot at a decent grade. You have to systematically manage the material and the information, systematically put that in a format that is usable for you from a functional standpoint and from a study standpoint, and continually review that material to make sure that you're in the best possible position for a good grade at the end of the semester. What else, Mel?
So, in establishing a routine early, how critical is a routine for going through law school?
Absolutely critical. Now, folks, those who remember me from law school can probably remember my little cooking timer that I carried with me everywhere. I had a little timer that I had every time I was doing something or I was researching or studying, I would set an amount of time for that activity and I would time myself. And people would just laugh and just, give me a lot of grief about it. But why did I do that? I did that because in law school you're so busy. There's so much material. There's so much time that you have to spend learning this material that you've got to be efficient. And the only way that you're efficient is if you set a schedule. And for me, I had a schedule. I would wake up in the morning, I'd go work out, I'd do some pre-reading before class, I'd go to class, I'd go through all my classes, then I'd have my daily review session where I'd review all my notes from the class. Then I'd go maybe do an evening workout or an evening break period. Then I'd come back in the evening, prepare for class for the next day, make sure that I'm ready for that. Then before I'd go to bed, I'd do what I'd call a comprehensive daily review, which is reviewing all of the new material that I've either took from notes or from my study or my outline reviews, and then it would start all over again the next day. But I made that schedule and I forced myself to systematically stick to it because that's the only way that, one, you're going to be able to manage the massive amount of material that you're going to see, and two, the way that you're going to see the material often enough to prepare you not to hit the curve, but to get to the top 10% of the class. And that's the goal. That should be the goal. And that's going to give you the options and open the doors for you to do whatever it is that you want to do post-law school.
Okay. So, last question regarding the routine. How long did it take you to set things in motion to, find the rhythm for the routine? A couple weeks maybe, or?
I would suggest to you, and what I tried to do very early on, was to get into that routine immediately. There's a new shiny, there's a brand new car feeling effect of law school. What is that? That's the first couple of weeks. You're getting all the congratulatory calls from your family. All your friends are super impressed. You're posting it on Facebook, and you still have this post-admission glee of, oh wow, this is great. I'm in law school. This is fantastic. Then, normally after that, the first couple of weeks is when the reality sets in. And it normally sets in at 12, 1 o'clock at night when you're in the library and you've got your Black's Law Dictionary, you've got your textbook, and you're reading a case, and you're finding that it's taking you 2 hours to read a 3-page case because you're having to stop and define each word. So what I would submit to you is focus from day one in getting your routine. Focus on day one. What is your schedule? When are you going to wake up? Are you an evening person? Are you a morning person? Focus on getting that routine set up early on so that you can maximize that period of haze that the students are typically in the beginning of the semester, and you can just hit the ground running.
All right. Last section of this video, the Socratic Method. Now, we've all heard about the Socratic Method. We have our own definitions. In your own words, how would you describe the Socratic Method? Also, did you find it helpful, and does it truly prepare you for what's to come in the legal field?
Yeah, the Socratic question or the Socratic Method is a key part or key component of the law school educational process. And I'll be honest with you, when I was in law school, or before law school, I heard a lot about the Socratic Method, and I saw some examples of it in movies and heard some horror stories about it. And then I get in law school, and I was subjected to the Socratic Method, obviously, several times. And I will tell you that the Socratic Method is the principal vehicle that law professors will use to cultivate the analytical thinking process that is often referred to as thinking like a lawyer. The skill that you are learning in law school, you're not really learning the substance of the law, although you'll come out of law school with an understanding of some basic law and some basic legal principles. What law school is teaching you is the process, the analytical process associated with taking a complex legal issue, dissecting it to its bare components, and then finding and employing a systematic method, applying the law to the facts to get to a resolution. And law school is academic and it's theory. In practice, it is meeting your client's objectives. Each and every day, I employ the Socratic Method as I work on client cases, because it is the analytical process of asking questions that are significant to raising the issues that then will need to be resolved from a legal standpoint. So here are a couple of things that I'll say about the Socratic Method. One, don't let it scare you. Because if you're going to be a lawyer, if you're going to be an attorney, then you're going to have to be able to speak and communicate and articulate yourself. And so it's better that you learn to speak and articulate in the context of your classroom and prepare yourself for legal practice. So get over that fear, get over that issue. Secondly is, do not fall for what I call the major law school okie doke. Don't fall for the major law school rope-a-dope. What is that? That is a situation where students get so preoccupied with preparing for class every day, so preoccupied with getting themselves ready for class and the fear of getting called on because of the Socratic Method, that they don't take the time to do what it is that they need to do to get ready for the exams. You should prepare for class, don't get me wrong. Definitely read your cases and prepare for class. But you should not be spending 7 hours to outline one case because you're afraid that you're going to get called on the next day, and then you don't do any review of your previous material, then you don't do any exam preparation, then you don't do any of the other things that are going to be necessary for you to find yourself in the top 10% of the class. So, to recap, Socratic Method is the process of instruction in the law school environment through which the instructor will engage you in a series of questions. So what did the facts say? So what did he do next? So what do you feel about this? Was this element satisfied? It's a instructional method that is based on not providing information, but providing the questions that will structure the analysis that you will need to do to get to the resolution of the legal issue. And in order to do that, it has to be a balanced approach. You'll hear a lot about thinking like a lawyer, thinking like a lawyer. Law professors, my first semester, I was like, what are you talking about, thinking like a lawyer? Just tell me. Thinking like a lawyer is the balanced, objective analysis where you're considering both sides of the issues and you are adequately and efficiently addressing arguments on both sides. And the Socratic Method is what's going to get you there.